Tonight we are reading. Oh, wait, I have a question for you guys. So this is weird. I think this play really should be in public domain, right? A Bold Stroke for a Husband, 1783, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It should be.
Yeah.
Right. I thought so too. I mean, I guess
This
when
is
they
1783.
yeah.
Yeah, it absolutely should be.
Right.
Well, it depends what the person who did the adaptation thinks.
Okay.
Right. You're saying that because you read the first page too, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, somebody, I don't know, would Taylor think her adaptations are copyrightable?
Oh, interesting. I think not, right? I think not. I think I don't know though. Legally, obviously. Okay, well, anyway, I was just curious. Of course it's still unknown, so that helps me not. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we are reading A Bold Stroke for a Husband by Hannah Cowley. Tonight playing Don Julio and Gasper.
David Mackler.
Playing Don Carlos and Pedro.
Marty Goldberg.
Playing Don Caesar.
Moseder.
Playing Don Vincentio and Vasquez.
Even Ackerman.
Playing Don Garcia.
Tyler Bogen.
Playing Victoria.
Stephanie Rasach.
Playing Laura and Olivia.
Angela Rodriguez.
Playing Minette.
Jennifer Finger.
Playing Marcella and Iris.
Kait Nicole Schuck.
Act 1, Scene 1. A street in Madrid. Enter. What?
Who's playing Pedro in this first scene? Because I'm playing Carlos. Who's playing Pedro?
You said you were taking Pedro. But if that's not possible right now, somebody else read Pedro. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Somebody.
Nobody? I can read Pedro. I
can take it.
Thank you, Tyler.
You're welcome.
Here we go. Act 1, Scene 1. A street in Madrid. Enter Pedro from a house.
Fo, don't I know that the duty of a lackey in Madrid is to lie with a good grace? I have been studying it now for a whole week, and I'll defy Don or devil to surprise me into truth. Here he comes. Donna Laura is not at home, sir.
Not at home? Come, sir. What have you received for telling that lie?
Lie, senor.
It must be a lie by your promptness in delivering it. What a fool does your mistress trust. A clever rascal would have waited my approach in delivering the message with easy coolness to deceive me. Thou hast been on the watch, and runnest towards me with a face of stupid importance, bawling that she may hear through the lattice how well thou obeyest her. Donna Laura is not at home, sir.
Here through the lattice? Ha! By lady, she must have long ears to reach from the grotto in the garden to the street.
Ha! Now, sir, your ears shall be longer, if you do not tell me who is with her in the grotto.
In the grotto, sir? Did I say anything about the grotto? I only meant that.
Fool, dost thou trifle with me? Who is with her?
He pinches his ear.
Oh, only the pretty young gentleman's valet, waiting for an answer to a letter he brought. There, I have saved my ears at the expense of my place. I shall be sent back to Segovia for not being able to lie, though I have been learning the art for a week.
Well, if thou wilt promise to be faithful to me, I will not betray thee, nor at present enter the house.
Oh, sir, blessings on you.
How often does the pretty young gentleman visit her?
Every day, sir, if he misses Madame Stark-Wild.
Where does he live?
Truly I know not, sir. She calls him Florio. That's his Christian name. His heathen name I never heard.
You must acquaint me when they are next together, promise, or I'll lead thee by the ears to the grotto.
I promise, I promise.
There, take that.
He gives him some money.
And if thou art, take that. And if thou art faithful, I'll treble it. Now go in and be a good lad. And do you hear? You may tell lies to everybody else, but remember, you must speak truth to me.
I will, sir. I will.
'Tis well, my passion is extinguished, for now I can act with coolness. I'll wait patiently and take them in the softest moments of their love. But if ever I trust to women more, may every and to two women veiled, followed by Julio.
Ah, fie, ladies. Keep your curtains drawn so late. The sun is up. 'Tis time to look abroad.
He tries to remove the lady's veils.
Nay, if you're determined on night and silence, I take my leave. A woman without prattle is like wine without spirit.
Ah, sure, 'tis Julio. Hey,
Ah, Don Carlos! Yes, by all the sober gods of matrimony. Why, what business canst thou have in Madrid? I understand you are married, quietly settled in your own pastures, and father of a family.
oh, 'tis false by heaven. I have forsworn the country, left my family, and run away from my wife.
Oh, really? Then matrimony has not totally destroyed thy free will.
'Tis with difficulty I have preserved it through, though, for women, thou knowest, are most unreasonable beings. As soon as I had exhausted my stock of love tales, which with management lasted beyond the honeymoon, Madam grew sullen. I found home dull and amused myself with the pretty peasants of the neighborhood. Worse and worse, we had nothing now but tears and hysterics for 24 honeymoons more. So I gave her in her sleep farewell kiss and posted to Madrid, where, if it was not for the remembrance of the clog at my heel, I should bound over the regions of pleasure.
Ah, do you find this clog no hindrance in affairs of gallantry?
Not much in that house there, but oh, her, she's perfidious. In that house is a woman of beauty who devoted herself to my passion.
Ah, if she's perfidious, give her to the winds.
Ah, but that's the rub. Julio, I have been a fool, a woman's fool. In a state of intoxication, she wheedled me, or rather cheated me, out of a settlement of lands that both honor and gratitude ought to have preserved sacred. In short, if I cannot recover them, I am a ruined man.
Nay, this seems a worse clog than the other. Poor Carlos, so bewived and betwixt and between.
Oh. Prithee, have compassion.
Enter a servant with a letter
An
to
appointment.
Julio.
I read it.
Enter a
An
servant
appointment.
with a letter from
I'll be
Julio.
sworn.
Mm. He reads it, then nods to the servant who exits.
An appointment, I'll be sworn. By that air of mystery and satisfaction, come, be friendly, and communicate.
He puts up the letter.
You are married, Carlos. That is all I have to say. You are married.
Foo, that's passed long ago and ought to be forgotten. But if a man does a foolish thing once, he'll hear it for all his life.
Aye, the time has been when thou mightest have been entrusted with such a dear secret.
What? 'Tis from a woman, then?
It is.
Handsome?
She'll pass with one who has not had his taste spoiled by matrimony.
Oh, malicious dog. Is she young?
Yes, fair complexion, azure eyes, red lips, teeth of pearl, polished neck, graceful.
Old Julio, if thou lovest me, is it possible she can be so bewitching a creature?
'Tis possible, though, to deal plainly, I never saw her, but my orders are to be in waiting at 7 at the Prado.
Brado, oh, hey, Gad, can't you take me with you? For though I have forsworn the sex myself and have done with them forever, yet I may be of use to you, you know.
Faith, I can't see that. However, as you are a poor woebegone married mortal, I'll have compassion and suffer thee to come.
Oh, then I am a man again. Wife, avant, mistress, farewell. At 7, you say?
Exactly.
I'll meet thee at Philippi.
Exit severally. Scene 2. A spacious garden belonging to Don Caesar. Enter Minette and Eunice.
There, will that do? My lady sent me to make her up a nosegay. These orange flowers are delicious, and this rose, how sweet.
Oh, would they sweeten her manners? 'Tis amazing you can be so much at your ease. One might think your lady's tongue was a lute, and her morning scolds an agreeable serenade.
So they are.
What a difference between your mistress and mine. Donna Victoria is as much too gentle as her cousin is too harsh.
Aye, you see what she gets by it. Had she been more spirited, perhaps her husband would not have forsaken her. Men enlisted under the matrimonial banner, like those under the king's, would often be tempted to run away from their colors, if fear did not keep them in dread of desertion.
If making a husband afraid is the way to keep him faithful, I believe your lady will be the happiest wife in Spain.
People may be deceived. Nay, how people are deceived. The time will discover all things.
What? What is there a secret in the business, Minette? If there is, let's have it directly.
Now, if I dare but tell ye, Lord, how I could surprise ye.
She starts to go.
Don't go.
I must go. I am on the very brink of betraying my mistress. I must leave you. Mercy upon me. Will you never breathe a syllable?
Never.
Will you strive to forget it the moment you have heard it?
I'll swear to myself 40 times a day to forget it.
So, now then, in one word, here goes. Though everybody supposes my lady an errant scold, she's no more a...
Out the bones!
Oh, here's her father and his privy councilor, Gasper. I can never communicate a secret in quiet. Well, come to my chamber, you shall have the whole.
Exeunt. Enter Don Caesar and Gasper.
Ah, take comfort, sir, take comfort.
Take it. Why, where the devil shall I find it? You may say, take physic, sir, or take poison, sir. They are to be had. But what signifies bidding me take comfort when I can either buy it, beg it, or steal it?
But patience will bring it, sir.
'Tis false, sirrah. Patience is a cheat, and the man that ranked her with the cardinal virtues was a fool.
Aye, sir. But you know the poets say that the companion of comfort is good humor. Now, if you would but drop that agreeable acidity which is so conspicuous.
But let my daughter drop her perverse humor. 'Tis more certain bar to marriage than ugliness or folly, and will send me to my grave at last without male heirs. How many times, how many have laid to her?
Ah, well, Troy held out but 10 years.
Expect me to wait till the horrors of old maidism frightened her into civility? No, no. I'll shut her up in a convent, marry myself, and have heirs in spite of her. There's my neighbor, Don Vasquez's daughter. She is but 19.
The very step I was going to recommend, sir. You are but a young gentleman of 63, I take it. And a husband of 63 who marries a wife of 19 will never want heirs. Take my word for it.
What? Do you joke, Sarah?
Oh, no, sir. Not if you are serious. I think it would be one of the pleasantest things in the world. Madam would throw a new life into the family. And when you are above stairs in the gout, sir, the music of her concerts and the spirit of her conversations would reach your sick bed and be comforting.
Come, I understand ye. But this daughter of mine, I shall give her but 2 chances more. Don Garcia and Don Vincentio will both be here today. And if she plays over the old game, I'll marry tomorrow morning. There's Don Garcia. Run to my daughter and bid her remember what I have said to her.
Exit Gasper.
If I can but keep him in ignorance till he is married, he must make the best of his bargain afterwards, as other honest men have done before him.
Enter Garcia.
Welcome, Don Garcia. Why, you are rather before your time.
Gallantry forbid that I should not. When a fair lady is concerned, should Donna Olivia welcome me as frankly as you do, I shall think I have been tardy.
When you made your signal, I understood inclination to be allied to my family, not from a particular passion to my daughter. Have you ever seen her?
But once, that transiently yet sufficient to convince me that she is charming.
Why, yes, though I say it, there are few prettier women in Madrid, and she has got enemies amongst her own sex accordingly. They pretend to say that I say, sir, they have reported that she's not blessed with that kind of docility and gentleness that now, though she may not be so very placid and insipid as some young woman, yet, upon the whole...
Enter Minette.
Sir, shield me from my mistress. She's in one of her old tempers. The whole house is in an uproar.
Hush.
No, sir, I can't hush. A saint could not bear it. I am tired of her tyranny and must quit her service.
Then quit it in a moment. Go to my steward and receive your wages. Go, be gone. 'Tis a cousin of my daughter's she is speaking of.
A cousin, sir? No, 'tis Donna Olivia, your daughter, my mistress. Oh, sir, you seem to be a sweet, tender-hearted young gentleman. 'Twill move you to pity if...
I'll move you, hussy, to some purpose, if you don't move off.
I am really confounded. Can the charming Olivia be...
Spite, sir, mere malice. My daughter has refused her some cast gown or some thing or other.
Where is she? Where is Minette?
Oh, 'tis all over. The tempest is coming.
Oh, you vile creature, to speak to me, to answer me. Am I made to be answered?
Daughter.
During the following conversation, he shews the most anxious impatience.
Because I threw my work bag at her, she had the insolence to complain, and of my repeating it, said she would not bear it. Servants should choose what they shall bear.
When you are married, Mom, I hope your husband will bear your humor less patiently than I have done.
My husband? Dost think my husband shall contradict my will? Oh, I long to set a pattern to those milky wives, whose mean compliances degrade the sex.
Garcia.
Indeed. Perhaps you may meet a...
Opportune.
What?
Opportune. Where are you? Go up, up, up.
Opportune. Sorry. Heavens, why have you never curbed this intemperate spirit, Don Caesar?
Curbed? Sir, talk thus bridegroom, curbs and bridles for a woman's tongue?
Not for yours, lady, truly. 'Tis too late. But had the torrent, now so overbearing, been taken at its spring, it might have been stemmed and turned in gentle streamlets at the master's pleasure.
A mistake, friend. My spirit at its spring was too powerful for any man.
Indeed, perhaps you may meet a Petruchio, gentle Katherine yet.
But no gentle Katherine will he find me. Believe it. Katherine. Why, she had the spirit of a roasted chestnut. A few big words and an empty oath and a scanty dinner made her as submissive as a spaniel. My fire will not be soon extinguished.
I believe so indeed. Help the poor gentleman, I say, to his fate you fall.
Don Caesar, adieu. My commiseration for your fate subdues the resentment I should otherwise feel at your endeavoring to deceive me into such a marriage.
Marriage? Oh, mercy. Is this Don Garcia?
Yes, shrew.
Oh, what a misfortune. Why did you not tell me it was the gentleman you designed to marry me? Oh, sir, all that is past was in sport. A contrivance between my maid and me. I have no spirit at all. I am as patient as poverty.
This mask sits too ill in your features, fair lady. I have seen you without disguise, and rejoice in your ignorance of my name, since, but for that, my peaceful home might have become the seat of perpetual discord.
Aye, sir, you would never have known what a quiet hour.
Olivia strikes her.
Pertinent indeed, sir. I can be as gentle and as forbearing as a pet lamb.
I cannot doubt it, madam, but adieu, though I shall pray for your conversion, rather than have the honor of it. I'd condemn myself to perpetual celibacy.
Exit.
Now, hussy, now! What do you expect?
Dear me, how can you be so unreasonable? Did ever daughter do more to oblige a father? I absolutely begged the man to have me.
Yes, vixen, after you had made him detest you. That spirit of yours, you can neither conquer nor conceal. But I'll find a way to tame it. I'll warrant me.
Exit. Olivia and Minette follow him with their eyes and then burst into laughter.
Well, madam, I give you joy. Had other ladies as much success in getting lovers as you have in getting rid of yours, what contented faces we should see.
But to what purpose do I get rid of them? Whilst they rise in succession? What will become of me?
What should become of you? Believe me, madam, the only way to get rid of the impertinence of lovers is to take one and make him a scarecrow to the rest.
Oh, but I cannot. Invention assists me this one day.
Upon my word, madam, invention knows you nothing. And I'm afraid you can draw on that bank no longer. You must trust your established character of vixen.
But that won't frighten them all. You know, though it did its business with sober Don Garcia, the brave General Antonio would have made a property of me, in spite of everything. Had I not luckily discovered his antipathy to cats, and so scared the hero by pretending an immoderate passion for young kittens.
And pray, madam, if I might be so bold, who is the next gentleman?
Oh, Don Vincentio, who distracts everybody with his skill in music. He ought to be married to a violin. I bless my stars, I have never yet had a miser in my list. And such a character, all art would be lost, and nothing but an earthquake to swallow up my estate could save me.
Well, if someone did but know, how happy would someone be that for his sake?
Now, don't be impertinent, Minette. You have several times attempted to slide yourself into a secret, which I am resolved to keep to myself. Continue faithful and suppress your curiosity.
Exit.
Suppress my curiosity, madam. Why, I'm a chambermaid, and a sorry one too, it should seem, to have been in your confidence 2 years and never have got the master's secret yet. I never was 6 weeks in the family before, but I knew every secret they had in it for 3 generations. Aye, and I'll know this too, or I'll blow up all her plans and declare to the world that she is no more a vixen than other fine ladies. Yeah, most of them a touch on it.
Exit. Act 2, Scene 1. An apartment at Donna Laura's. Enter Laura, followed by Carlos.
Nay, madam, I will be heard.
He seizes her hand.
This insolence is not to be endured within my own walls.
The time has been when, within your walls, I might be master.
Yes, you were then master of my heart. That gave you a right which...
You have now transferred to another.
He flings her hand away.
Well, sir.
Well, sir, unblushing acknowledgement. False, fickle woman.
1 second, I lost my place.
Bottom of 12.
Yes, because I have luckily got the start of you. In a few weeks, I should have been the accuser, and you the false and fickle.
And to secure yourself from that disgrace, you prudently looked out in time for another lover.
I can pardon your sneer because you are mortified.
Mortified?
Yes, Carlos. I know your sex. The vainest female in the hour of her exaltation and power is still outdone by man in vanity. 'Tis more your ruling passion than 'tis ours, and 'tis wounded vanity that makes you thus tremble with rage at being deserted.
Madam! Madam!
This rage would have been all cool insolence had I waited for your change. Then whilst with all my sex's weaknesses, I had knelt at your feet and reproached you only with my tears. How composed would have been your feelings?
Has any hour since I have first known you given you cause for such unjust?
Yes, every hour. You say you loved me. Was there no fond, trusting woman whom you deserted to indulge in the transient passion? Yes, one blessed with beauty, gentleness, and youth. One who more than her own being loved thee, who made thee rich, and whom thou madest thy wife.
My wife? Here's a turn. So to revenge the quarrels of my wife?
No, do not mistake me. What I have done was merely to indulge myself, without more regard to your feelings than you had to hers.
And you dare avow to my face that you have a passion for another?
I do. And for I am above disguise, I confess. So tender is my love for Florio, it has scarcely left a trace of that I once avowed for Carlos.
Well, madam, that passion is as dead in my bosom as it is in yours. Let us, however, part friends, and with a mutual acquittal of every obligation. So give up the settlement of that estate, which left me almost a beggar.
Give it up? No, Carlos. You consign me that estate as a proof of love. Do not imagine, then, I'll give up the only part of our connection of which I am not ashamed.
Base woman! You know 'twas not a voluntary gift. After having in vain practice on my fondness whilst in a state of intoxication, you prevailed on me to sign the deed, which you had artfully prepared for the purpose. Therefore, you must restore it.
Never. Never.
Ruin! Never ruin is in the word. Call it back, madam, or I'll be revenged on thee in thy heart's dearest object. Thy minion Florio, he shall not riot on my fortune.
Florio is safe. Your lands are sold, and in another country we shall enjoy the blessing of thy fond passion.
Exit.
My vengeance shall first fall on her. No, he shall be the first victim, or 'twill be incomplete. Reduced to poverty, I cannot live. Oh, folly! Where are now all the gilded prospects of my youth? Had I, but 'tis too late to look back. Remorse attends the past, and ruin waits me in the future.
Exit. Scene 2. Don Caesar's. Victoria enters, perusing a letter. Enter Olivia.
Doña Victoria, smiling I protest, my dear gloomy cousin, where have you purchased that sunshiny look?
It is but April sunshine, I fear. But who could resist such a temptation to smile? A letter from Doña Laura, my husband's mistress, sending me her dearest Florio, her life, her soul, and complaining of a 12 hours absence as the bitterest misfortune.
Most doughty Don, pray let us see you in your feather and doublet. It seems you are formidable, so suddenly to rob your husband of his charmer's heart. You must have used some witchery.
Oh, yes, powerful witchery. The knowledge of my sex. Oh, the men know, the men but know us, as well as we do ourselves. But thank fate they do not. 'Twould be dangerous.
What I suppose. You praised her understanding, was captivated by her will, and absolutely struck dumb by the amazing beauties of her mind.
Oh, no, that's the mode prescribed by the essayist on the female heart. Not a woman breathing from 15 to 50, but would rather have a compliment at the tip of her ear or the turn of her ankle than a volume of praise of her intellects.
So flattery, then?
No, that's only the occasional gilding. But 'tis in vain to attempt a description of what changed with every moment. I was now attentive, now gay, then tender, then careless. I strove rather to convince her that I was charming than that I myself was charred. And when I saw love's arrow quivering in her heart, instead of falling at her feet, sang a triumphant air and remembered a sudden engagement.
Would you have done so had you been a man?
Assuredly, knowing what I do now as a woman.
But can all this be worthwhile? Merely to rival a husband with one woman, whilst he is setting his feather, perhaps a score others?
To rival him was not my first motive. She robbed me of his heart. I concluded she had fascinations which nature had denied to me. It was impossible to visit her as a woman. I therefore assumed the cavalier to study her, that I might, if possible, be to my Carlos all he found in her.
Pretty humble creature.
In this adventure, I learned more than I expected. My cruel husband had given this woman an estate.
Indeed.
To make him more culpable, it was my estate. That fortune which my lavish love made his without securing it to my children.
How could you be so improvident?
Alas, I trusted him with all my heart.
How can you be this passive in your sorrow? Since I had assumed the man I make him feel man's resentment for such injuries.
Oh, Olivia. What resentment can I shrew to him I had vowed to honor, and whom both my duty and my heart compel me yet to love? I suffered in prosecuting my plan. I have thrown off the delicacy of sex. I have worn the mask of love to the destroyer of my peace. But the object is too great to be abandoned. Nothing less than to save my husband from ruin, and to restore him again, a lover, to my faithful bosom.
Well, I confess, Victoria, I hardly know whether most to blame or praise you. But with the rest of the world, I suppose your success will determine.
Enter Gasper.
Pray, madam, are your wedding shoes ready?
Insolence. I can scarcely ever keep up the victim to this sight.
You'll want them, ma'am, tomorrow morning, that's all. So I came to prepare ye.
I want wedding shoes tomorrow?
Lack-a-day. Did you suppose I came to bring you news of your own wedding? No such glad tidings for you, lady, believe me. You married! I'm sure the man who ties himself to you ought to be half a salamander and able to live in fire.
Oh, what marriage then is it? You do me the honor to inform me of.
Why, your father's marriage. You'll have a mother-in-law tomorrow and, having, like a dutiful daughter, danced at the wedding, be immured in a convent for life.
Immured in a convent? Then I'll raise sedition in the sisterhood. He cozy a bed and turn the confessor's chair to a go-kart.
So the threat of the mother-in-law, which I thought would be worse than that of the abbess, does not frighten ye?
No, because my father dares not give me one. Marry without my consent? No. He'll never think of it. Depend on it.
Exit.
Who'd think that pretty arch look belonged to a shrew? What a pity 'twould be worth 1,000 ducats to cure her.
Has Inez told you I wanted to converse with you in private, Gasper?
Oh, yes, madam. And I took particular notice that it was to be in private. Sure, says I, Mrs. Innes, Madam Victoria, has not taken a fantasy to me.
Suppose I should, Gasper.
Why then, madam, I should say fortune had used you devilishly to give me a gray beard in a livery. I know well enough that some young ladies have given themselves to gray beards in a gilded coach, and others have run away with a handsome youth in worsted lace. They each had their apology, but if you run away with me, pardon me, madam, I could not stand the ridicule.
Oh, very well. But if you refuse to run away with me, will you do me another favor?
Anything you'll order, madam, except dancing a fandango.
Have you seen my rich old uncle in the country?
What, Don Sancho, who, with 2/3 of a century in his face, affects the misdemeanors of youth, hides his baldness with amber locks, complains of the toothache, to make you believe that the 2 rows of ivory he carries in his head grew there?
So you know him. I find. Could you assume his character for an hour and make love to him?
Hang it, appear an old man with effect? One should not be above 20. 'Tis always so on the stage.
You might pass.
Nay, if your ladyship condescends to flatter me, you have me.
Then follow me, for Don Cesar. I hear is a porching in the garden. I make you acquainted with my plan, and impress on your mind every trait of my uncle's character. If you can hit him off, the acts of Laura shall be foiled, and Carlos again be victorious.
Exit. Enter Don Caesar, followed by Olivia.
No, 'tis too late. No coaxings. I am resolved, I say.
But it is not too late, and you shan't be resolved. I say, indeed now. I'll be upon my guard with the next Don. What's his name? I'll study to be charming.
Hey, you need not study it. You are always charming enough, if you would but hold your tongue.
Do you think so? Then to the next lover I won't open my lips. I'll answer everything he says with a smile. And if he asks me to have him drop a courtesy of thankfulness.
Ah, that's too much t'other way. You're always either above the mark or below it. You must talk, but talk with good humor. Can't you look gently and prettily now as I do and say, yes, sir, and no, sir, and 'tis very fine weather, sir, and pray, sir, were you at the ball last night? And I caught a sad cold the other evening, and bless me, I hear Lucinda has run away with her footman, and Don Philip has married his housemaid. That's the way agreeable ladies talk. You never hear anything else.
Very true. And you shall see me as agreeable as the best of them. If you won't give me a mother-in-law to snub me, and set me tasks, and to take up all the fine apartments, and send up your poor little Livy to lodge next to the stairs, to the stars.
If you weren't but always thus soft and good-humored, no mother-in-law in Spain should have power to snub thee. But, Livy, the trial's at hand, and at this moment do I expect Don Vincentio to visit you. He is but just returned from England, and probably has yet heard only of your beauty and fortune. I hope it is not from you he will learn the other part of your character.
This moment expect him? Upon my obedience, I promise to be just the soft, civil creature you have described.
I'll wait upon him. Well, go. Be gentle and talk pretty little small talk, do you hear? And if you please him, you shall have the portion of a Dutch burgomaster's daughter and the pin money of a princess. You jade, you. I think at last I've done it. The fear of this mother-in-law will keep down the fiend in her, if anything can.
Exit.
My poor father. Your anxieties will never end till you bring Don Julio. Command me to sacrifice my petulance, my liberty to him. And if Kenya herself cannot be more obedient, but what shall I do with this Vincentio? I fear he is so perfectly harmonized that to put him in an ill temper will be impractical. I must try, however. It's possible to find a discord in him. I'll touch the string.
Exit. Another apartment. Enter Vincentio and Caesar.
Presto, presto, signor. Where is the Olivia? Not a moment to spare. I left off in all the fury of composition. Notes that have been battling it through my head the whole day, and trying a semi-breve in G sharp has made me as flat as double F.
Oh, then you are fond of music.
Fond of it, devoted to it. I composed the thing today in all the gusto of Sacchini and the sweetness of Gluck. But if this is all cantable, nothing to do with the subject of the piece, which is Donna Olivia, pray, give me the keynote to her heart.
Upon my word, Signor, to speak in your own phrase, I believe that note has never yet been sounded. Here she comes. Look at her. Isn't she a charming girl?
Touching. Musical, I'll be sworn. Her very air is harmonious.
If thou mayst find her tongue so.
Enter Olivia, curtsies profoundly to each.
Order! Receive Don Vincentio. His rank, fortune, and merit entitle him to be the heiress of a grandee, but he is contented to become my son-in-law, if you can please him.
Olivia curtsies again.
pleases me. She entrances me. Her presence thrills me like a cadenza of Pacchiarotti's, and every nerve vibrates to the music of her looks. Her step andante gentle moves, piano's glance from either eye. Oh, how larghetto is the heart that charms so forte can defy. Donna Olivia, will you be contented to receive me as a lover?
Yes, sir. No, sir.
Yes, sir. No, sir. Betwiching timidity.
Yes, sir, she's remarkably timid.
It's clear you have never traveled. I shall be delighted to shew you England. You will there see how entirely timidity is banished the sex. You must affect a marked character and maintain it at all hazards.
'Tis a very fine day, sir.
Madam?
I caught a sad cold the other evening. Pray, were you all at the ball last night?
What ball, fair lady?
Bless me. They say Lucinda has run away with her footman, and Don Philip has married his housemaid. Now, am I not very agreeable?
Such perverse obedience.
Really, madam, I have not the honor to know Don Philippe and Lucinda, nor am I happy enough entirely to comprehend you.
No, I only meant to be agreeable, but perhaps you have no taste for pretty little small talk.
Pretty little small talk.
A marked character you admire. So do I. I dote on it. I would not resemble the rest of the world in anything.
We shall agree admirably when we are married, and that will be unlike the rest of the world, and therefore charming.
Ooh, I have hit her humor at last. Why didn't this young dog offer himself before?
I believe I have the honor to carry my taste that way farther than you. Don Vincenzo, pray now, what is your usual style in living?
My winters I spend in Madrid, as other people do. My summers I drawl through at my castle.
As other people do, and yet you pretend to taste and singularity. Good Don Vincenzo, never talk of a marked character again. Go into the country in July to smell roses and woodbines, when everybody regales on their favorites. Now, I would resuscitate only in winter, and my bleak castle should be decorated with verdure and flowers amidst the soft zephyrs of December.
Oh, she'll go too far.
On the leafless trees, I would hang green branches, whilst my rose shrubs and myrtles should be scented by the first perfumers in Italy. Unnatural indeed, but therefore singular and striking.
Oh, charming. You beat me where I thought myself the strongest. Would they but establish newspapers here to paragraph our singularities, we should be the most envied couple in Spain.
At St. Anthony, he is as mad as she is.
What say you, Don Caesar? Olivia and her winter garden, and I and my music.
Music? Did you say music? I am passionately fond of that.
Saved my life. I thought she was going to knock down his hobby horse.
You enchant me. I have the finest band in Madrid. Oh, you shall have such concerts.
Concerts? Pardon me there, my passion is a single instrument.
Carrying singularity very far indeed. I love a band, and so does everybody of taste.
But my taste isn't like everybody's. My nerves are so particularly fine that more than one instrument overpowers them.
Pray, tell me the name of that one. I am sure it must be the most elegant and captivating in the world. I am impatient to know it. We have no other instrument in Spain, and I will study to become its master, that I may woo you with its music. Charming Olivia, tell me, is it a harpsichord, piano forte, pentachord, A harp?
A kazoo is to be my only instrument. Are you not charmed with the delightful hum? It presents the idea of vastness and importance to the mind. The moment you are its master, I'll give you my.
De capo, madam, de capo. A kazoo.
Bless me, sir. Don't I tell you, sir? Violins chill me. Clarinets by sympathy hurt my lungs. And instead of maintaining a band under my roof, I would not keep a servant who knew a bassoon from a flute.
Oh, thou perverse one, you know you love concerts. You know you do.
I detest them. It's vulgar custom that attaches people to the sounds of 50 different instruments at once. It would be as well to talk on the same subject in 50 different tongues. A band, I've got to listen to a 3-stringed guitar, serenading a seamstress in some neighboring garret.
Ooh, Don Vincentio, this is nothing but perverseness, wicked perverseness. Hussy.
Piano, good sir. Spare yourself all farther trouble. Should the Princess of Gujarat and all her diamond mines offer themselves, I would not accept them in lieu of my band, a band that has half ruined me to collect. I would have allowed Donna Olivia a blooming garden in winter. I would even have procured Baroness and snow for her in the dog days, but to have my band insulted, to have my knowledge in music slighted, to be roused from all the energies of composition by the drone of a kazoo, I cannot breathe under the idea.
Then you refuse her, sir?
I cannot use so harsh a word. I take my leave of the lady. Adieu, madame. I leave you to enjoy your solos whilst I fly to the raptures of a band.
Exit. Caesar goes up to her and looks her in the face and then goes off without speaking.
Mercy! That silent anger is terrifying. I read a young mother-in-law, an old lady abbess, in every line of his suite.
Enter Victoria.
Well, you heard the whole, I suppose. Heard poor unhappy me scorned and rejected.
But what, my good cousin, does this all lead to?
I dare say you can guess. Penelope had never cheated her lovers with a never-ending web. Had she not had an Ulysses?
An Ulysses? What, are you then married?
Oh, no, not yet. But believe me, my design is not to lead apes, nor is my heart an icicle. If you choose to know more, put on your veil and slip with me through the garden to the Prado.
I can't indeed. I am this moment going to dress en homme.
Send an excuse, for positively you go with me. Heaven and earth. I am going to meet a man whom I have been fool enough to dream and think of these 2 years. And I don't know that ever he thought of me in his life.
2 years discovering that?
He has been abroad. The only time I ever saw him was at the Duchess of Medina's. There were 1,000 people, and he was so elegant, so careless, so handsome. In a word, though, he set off for France the next morning. By some witchcraft or other. He has been before my eyes ever since.
Was the impression mutual?
He hardly noticed me. It was then a bashful thing, and shrunk from observation.
Why, I thought you were going to meet him.
To be sure, I sent him a command this morning to be at the Prado. I am determined to find out if his heart is engaged. And if it is,
You'll cross your arms and crown your brow with willows.
no, positively, I would have preferred Julio. 'Tis true to all his sex, but if he is stupid enough to be insensible to me, I shan't for that reason find me like a girl. No, no. In that case, I shall form a new plan and treat my future lovers with more civility.
You are the only woman in love I've ever heard talk reasonably.
We'll prepare for the Prado, and I'll give you a lesson against your days of widowhood. Don't you wish this the moment, Victoria? A pretty widow at 24 has more subjects and a wider empire than the first monarch upon earth.
Oh, Olivia, my happiness, my life depend on my husband. The fond hope of still being united to him gives me spirits of my affliction and enables me to support even the period of his neglect with patience.
Exeunt. Act 3, Scene 1. A long street. Julio enters from a garden gate.
Ah, if ever I am so caught again.
Garcia enters, going hastily across. Julio seizes him.
Don Garcia, never make love to a woman in a veil.
Why so prithee? Veils and secrecy are the chief ingredients in a Spanish amar. But in 2 years, Julio, thou art grown absolutely French.
That may be, but I have been an hour at the feet of a creature whose first birthday must have been the latter end of the last century, and whose trembling, weak voice I mistook for the timid cadence of bashful 15.
Ha ha ha! What a happiness to have seen thee in thy raptures, petitioning for half a glance only of the charms the envious veil concealed.
Yes, and when she unveiled her Gothic countenance, to render the thing completely ridiculous, she began moralizing, and positively would not let me out of the snare, till I had persuaded her she had worked a conversation, and that I'd never make love, but in an honest way again.
Oh, that honest way of love making is delightful, to be sure. I had a dose of it this morning, but happily the ladies have not yet learnt to veil their tempers, though they have their faces.
Enter Vincentio.
Julio, Garcia congratulated me. Such an escape.
What have you escaped?
Matrimony.
Nay, then our congratulations may be mutual. I have had a matrimonial escape too this very day. I was almost on the brink of the ceremony with the veriest
Xanthippe.
Oh, that was not my case. Mine was a sweet creature, all elegance, all life.
Then where's the cause of congratulation?
Pause. Why, she's ignorant of music. Prefers a kazoo to a pentachord.
Kazoo? Pretty.
Had my nymph no other fault, I would pardon that, for she was lovely and rich.
Mine too was lovely and rich, and I'll be sworn ignorant of scolding, but not to know music.
Gentle, lovely, and rich, and ignorant only of music?
A venial crime indeed. If the sweet creature will marry me, she shall carry a kazoo always in her train, as a Scotch laird does his bagpipes. I wish you'd give me your interest.
Oh, most willingly, if thou hast so gross an inclination. I'll name thee to a father Don Caesar.
Caesar, impossible. The name of the lady?
Olivia.
Why, you must be mad. That's my shrew.
Shrew? Thou hast certainly some vixen of a mistress who infects thy ears towards the whole sex. Olivia is timid and elegant.
By Juno, there never existed such a scold.
By Orpheus, there never was a gayer tempered creature. Spirit enough to be charming, that's all. If she loved harmony, I'd marry her tomorrow.
What a ridiculous jangle. 'Tis evident you speak of two different women.
I speak of Donna Olivia, heiress to Don Caesar.
I speak of the heiress Don Caesar, who is called Donna Olivia.
Sir, I perceive you mean to insult me.
Your perceptions are very rapid, sir, but if you choose to think so, I'll settle that point with you immediately. But for fear of consequences, I'll fly home and add the last bar to my concerto and then meet you where you please.
This is obviously misapprehension. To clear the matter up, I'll visit the lady, if you'll introduce me, Vincentio, but you shall both promise to be governed in this dispute by my decision.
I'll introduce you with joy if you'll try to persuade her of the necessity of music and the charms of harmony.
Yes, she needs that. You'll find her all jar and discord.
Ah, come no more, Garcia. Thou art but a sort of male vixen thyself. Melodious Vincentio, when shall I expect you?
This evening.
Oh, not this evening. I've engaged to meet a goldfinch in a grove. Call on me tomorrow. I'll then attend you to Donna Olivia and declare faithfully the impression her character makes on me. Come, Garcia, I must not leave you together, lest you should fall into a crash of discords.
Exeunt opposite sides. Scene 2, the Prado. Enter Carlos.
All hail to the powers of Burgundy. 3 flasks to my own share. What sorrows can stand? Again, 3 flasks of Burgundy. I was a damned melancholy fellow this morning, going to shoot myself to get rid of my troubles. Where are my troubles now? Ha ha! Gone to the moon to look for my wits. And there I hope they'll remain together, if one cannot come back without the other. But where is this insolent dog, Julio? He fit to receive appointments from ladies. Sure, I have not missed the hour. No, but 7 yet. 7's the hour by all the joys of Burgundy. The rogue must be here. Oh, let's reconnoiter.
Enter Victoria and Olivia, veiled from the top.
Positively mind a pretty spark to let me be first at the place of appointment. I have half resolved to go home against punishment.
I'll answer for its being but half a resolution. To make it entire would be to punish yourself. There's a solitary man. Is not that he?
I think not. If he'd please to turn his face this way.
That's impossible, while the lodestone is the other way. He is looking at the women in the next walk. Can't you disturb him?
Oh, a frightful frog!
Heavens! 'Tis my husband.
Your husband? Is that Don Carlos?
'Tis indeed.
Why, really? Now I see the man, I don't wonder that you are in no hurry to your weeds. He is moving towards us.
Ugh, oh, I cannot speak to him, and yet my soul flies to meet him.
Pray, lady, what occasioned that pretty scream? I shrewdly suspect it was a trap.
A trap? A trap for you?
Oh, why not, madam? Oh, zoons. A man 6 feet high and 3 flasks of Burgundy in his head is worth laying a trap for.
Yes, unless he happens to be trapped before. 'Tis about 2 years since you were caught. I take it. Do keep farther off, odious, a married man.
The devil. Is it posted under every saint in the street that I am a married man?
No, you carry the marks about you. That rueful fizz could never belong to a bachelor.
Confound thee. If thou art a wife, May thy husband plague thee with jealousies, and thou never be able to give him cause for them. If thou art a maid, mayest thou be an old one. Oh, Julio, look not that way. There's a tongue will stun thee.
Heaven be praised. I love female prattle. A woman's tongue can never scare me.
Carlos takes Victoria's hand.
Perhaps you don't hate a married man, sweet one.
You guess right. I love a married man.
Ha, 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 ha. Sayest thou so? Wilt thou love me?
Will you let me?
Let thee, my charmer, how I'll cherish thee for it. What would I not give for thy heart?
I demand a price that perhaps you cannot give. I ask for unbounded love. But you have a wife.
And therefore the readier to love every other woman? 'Tis in your favor, child.
Will you love me ever?
Ever? Yes, ever, till we find each other dull company, and yawn, and talk of our neighbors for amusement.
Farewell. I suspected that you would not reach my terms.
Nay, I'll come to your terms if I can. But move this way. I am fearful of that woodpecker at your elbow. Should she begin again, her noise will scare all the pretty loves that are playing about my heart.
Forcing her gently off.
I really believe, though you deny it, that you are my destiny. That is, you fated me hither. See, is this not your mandate?
He takes a letter from his pocket.
Oh, delightful! The scrawl of some chambermaid, or perhaps of your valet to give you an heir? What is it signed? Maria Torrance? Tomasa? Sancha?
Nay, now I am convinced this letter is yours since you abuse it. So you may as well confess.
Suppose I should. You can't be sure that I do not deceive you.
True, but there is one point in which I have made a vow not to be deceived. Therefore, throw off your veil.
My veil?
Positively. If you reject this article, our negotiation ends.
You have no right to offer articles, unless you own yourself conquered.
I own myself willing to be conquered, and have therefore a right to make the best terms I can. Do you accede to the demand?
Certainly not.
You had better.
I protest I will not.
My life upon it, I make you. Why, madam, how absurd this is. 'Tis reducing us to the situation of Pyramus and Thisbe, talking through a wall. Yet 'tis of no consequence, for I know your features as well as though I saw them.
How can that be?
I judge of what you hide by what I see. I could draw your picture.
Charming! Pray begin the portrait.
A broad, high forehead, rounded at the top like an old-fashioned gateway.
So horrid.
Little gray eyes, a sharp nose, and hair the color of rusty wool.
Odious.
Pale cheeks, thin lips, and
hold, thou vilifier.
She throws off her veil. He sinks on one knee.
There. Yes. Kneel in contrition for your malicious libel.
say rather in adoration. What a charming creature.
So, now for lies on the other side.
Ah, forehead formed by the graces, hair which Cupid could steal for his bowstrings, were he not engaged in shooting through those sparkling hazel circlets which nature has given you for eyes. Lips that 'twere a sin to call so, they are fresh gathered rose leaves with fragrant morning dew still hanging on their rounded surface.
Is that extemporaneous or ready cut for every woman who takes off her veil to you?
I believe 'tis not extemporaneous, for nature, when she finished you, formed the sentiment in my heart, where it has been hid, till you, for whom it was formed, called it into words.
Suppose I should understand from all this that you have a mind to be in love with me. Wouldn't you be finely caught?
Charmingly caught, if you'll let me understand at the same time that you have a mind to be in love with me.
In love with a man? Heavens, I never loved anything but a squirrel.
Make me your squirrel. I'll put on your chain and gamble and play forever at your side.
But suppose you should have a mind to break the chain.
Then loosen it, for if once that humor seizes me, restraint won't cure it. Let me spring in bounded liberty, and when I return to my lovely mistress, tired of all but her, fasten me again to your girdle and kiss me while you chide.
Your servant to encourage you to leave me again.
No, to make returning to you the strongest attraction of my life. Why are you silent?
I'm debating whether to be pleased or displeased at what you have said.
Well?
You shall know when I have determined. My friend and yours are approaching this way, and they must not be interrupted.
Ah, 'twould be barbarous. We'll retire as far off as you please.
But we retire separately. Sir, that lady is a woman of honor, and this moment of the highest importance to her. You may, however, conduct me to the gate, on condition that you leave me instantly.
Leave her instantly. Oh, then I know my cue.
Exit together at top. Enter Carlos, followed by Victoria, unveiled.
Oh, my wife.
Oh, heavens, I will veil myself again. I will hide my face forever from you if you still will feast at my ears with those soft vows, which a moment since you poured forth so eagerly.
My wife, making love to my own wife.
Why should one of the dearest moments of my life be to you so displeasing?
So I am caught in this snare by way of agreeable surprise, I suppose.
Would you could think it so?
No, madam, by heaven, 'tis a surprise fatal to every hope with which you may have flattered yourself. What, am I to be followed, haunted, watched?
Not to upbraid you, I followed you, because my castle without you seemed a dreary desert. Indeed, I will never upbraid you.
Generous assurance. Never upbraid me, no, by heavens. I'll take care you never shall. She has touched my soul, but I dare not yield to the impression. Her softness is worse than death to me.
Would I could find words to please you.
You cannot. Therefore, leave me, or suffer me to go without attempting to follow you.
Is it possible you could be so barbarous?
Do not expostulate. Your first vowed duty is obedience. That word so grating to your sex?
To me, it was never grating. To obey you has been my joy. Even now I will not dispute your will, though I feel for the first time obedience hateful.
Exit.
Oh, horrible. Had I not taken this harsh measure, I must have killed myself, for how could I tell her that I have made her a beggar? Better she should hate me, detest me, than that my tenderness should give her a prospect of felicity, which now she can never taste. Oh, wine-created spirit, where art thou now? Madness returned to me again, for reason presents me nothing but despair.
Enter Julio from the top.
Carlos, who the devil can they be? My charming little witch was inflexible. I hope yours has been more communicative.
Folly. Nonsense.
Exit.
Folly, nonsense. What, a pretty woman's smile? Upon my soul, it has more persuasion and consequently more reason than a logical disquisition. But these married fellows have neither taste nor joy. Humph! Suppose my fair one should want to debase me into such an animal. She can't have so much villainy in her disposition, and yet if she should, it won't bear thinking about. If I do so mad a thing, it must be as cowards fight, without daring to reflect on the danger.
Exit. Scene 3. An apartment in the house of Don Vasquez. Marcella's father. Enter Caesar and Vasquez. Unmute. Unmute. Nope. 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 Don't hear you. Stephen?
Huh?
Okay.
Did you talk?
No, I hear you. David?
Okay, you hear me?
I do hear you. Just waiting for David to unmute or fix himself somehow.
Right.
Scene 3. An apartment in the house of Don Vasquez, Marcella's father. Enter Caesar and Vasquez.
Well, Don Vasquez, and you, then I say, you have a mind that I should marry your daughter?
It is sufficient, Signor, that you have signified to us your intention. My daughter shall prove her gratitude in the attention to your felicity.
And now it comes to the push. But just 19, you say?
Exactly, the 11th of last month.
Pity it was not 20.
Why, a year can make no difference, I should think.
Oh, yes, it does. There's a great deal. They're so skittish at 19.
Those who are skittish at 19, I fear, you won't find much mended at 20. Marcella is very grave and a pretty little plump, fair.
Aye, fair again. Why these fair girls are so stared at by men, and the young fellows nowadays have a damned impudent stare with them. It is very abashing to a woman, very distressing.
Yes, so it is. But come, I'll send Marcella to you, and she will...
No. Stay, my good friend. You are in a violent hurry.
Why, truly, Signor, at our time of life, when we determine to marry, we have no time to lose.
Why, that's very true. And so, oh, St. Anthony, now it comes... A look won't bind us for better or worse. Well, then, if you have a mind, I say, you may let me see her.
Exit Vasquez.
Here she comes.
Enter Vasquez leading Marcella.
There, Marcella. Behold your future husband, and remember that your kindness to him will be the standard of your duty to me.
Exit.
Oh, heavens!
Well, now I'm afraid to look around.
Surely he does not know that I am here. Pray, Signor, have you any commands for me?
Not nonplussed at all. Oh, that eye. I don't like that eye.
My father commanded me to.
Yes, I know. Now I look again. There is a sort of a modest... oh, that that smile will never do.
I understand, senor, that you have demanded my hand in marriage.
On my word, plump to the point. Yes, I did sort of. I can't say but that I did.
I am not insensible of the honor you do me, sir, but...
But, what don't you like, the thoughts of the match?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, exceedingly. I dare say not so.
Oh, you do? Exceedingly. Well, I suppose, child, your head is full of jewels and finery.
No, indeed, sir.
No? What then? What sort of life do you expect to lead when you are my wife? What pleasures do you look forward to?
None.
Hey.
I shall obey my father, sir. I shall marry you, but I shall be most wretched.
Indeed.
There is not a fate I would not prefer. But pardon me.
Go on. I was never better pleased.
Pleased at my reluctance.
Never better pleased in my life. So you had rather have me for a grandfather than a husband?
Forgive my frankness, sir, 1,000 times.
My dear girl, let me kiss your hand. Egad, you've let me off charmingly. I was frightened out of my wits. You should have taken as violent an inclination to the match as your father has.
Dear sir, you charm me.
But hark ye, you'll certainly incur your father's anger if you don't take the refusal entirely on myself, which I will do, if you'll only assist me in the little business I have in hand.
Anything to show my gratitude.
You must know, I can't get my daughter to marry. There's nothing on earth will drive her to it but the dread of a mother-in-law. Now, if you will let it appear to her that you and I are driving to the goal of matrimony, I believe it will do. What say you? Shall we be lovers in play?
If you are sure it will only be in play.
Oh, my life upon it, but we must be very fond, you know.
To be sure, exceedingly tender. Ha ha ha.
You must smile upon me now and then, roguishly, and slide your hand into mine when you are sure she sees you, and let me pat your cheek and...
Oh, no, farther pray. That will be quite sufficient.
I begin to take a fancy to your rogue's face. Now, I'm in no danger. Mayn't we?
Never.
Well, you must be lady governess in this business. I'll go home now and fret madam about her young mother-in-law. Bye, sweeting.
Bye, charmer.
That's its pretty eyes.
Exit.
Bless its pretty spectacles. Enter into a league with a cross old father against a daughter? Why, how could he suspect me capable of so much treachery? I could not answer to it my conscience. No. I'll acquaint Donna Olivia with the plot, and, as in duty bound, will turn our arms against Don Caesar.
Exit. Act 4, Scene 1. Donna Laura's. Enter Laura and Pedro.
Well, Pedro, hast thou seen Don Florio?
Yes, Donna.
How did he look when he read my letter?
Mortal well. I never seen him look better. He'd got on a new cloak and
A faux blockhead.
Did he look pleased? Did he kiss my maid? Did he press the belay to his bosom with all the warmth of love?
no, he didn't warm it that way, but he did another. for he put it into the fire.
How?
Yes, and when I spoke, he started for, I think, he had forgot that I was by. So he says he go home and tell Donna Laura I fly to her presence.
Is it possible? So contemptuously destroy the letter in which my whole heart overflowed with tenderness? But why do I question it? Has he ever treated me but with the most mortifying coldness, even whilst he pretended to be sensible of my charms? I feel myself on the brink of hatred. Oh, how idly I talk. He is here. His very voice pierces my heart. I dare not meet his eyes. Thus discomposed.
Exit. Enter Victoria in men's clothes.
Now must I, with a man mind torn by anxieties, once more assume the lover of my husband's mistress, of the woman who has robbed me of his heart and his children of their fortune. Oh, married love, assist me, if I can, be any sort obtain from her that fatal deed. Shall I say that the ones come from ruin? And then, but I hear her step.
She sets her hat in the glass, dances a few steps, then runs to Laura and seizes her hand.
My lovely Laura.
That look speaks Laura loved as well as lovely.
To be sure. Petrarch immortalized by his laurels, by his verses, and mine shall be immortal in my passion.
I cannot conceive how you feed this immortal passion.
Oh, by thinking of you and reading your letters, and by...
My letters? How often do you read them?
Oh, a dozen times an hour. Drink each dear line with mine eyes, whilst my lips drink chocolate. Place them every night under my pillow, and
in the morning fling them into the fire.
Oh, madam.
Oh, Florio, how deceitful. I know not what enchantment binds me to thee.
Oh, me, my dear.
Yes, ingrate, thee.
You have these extravagancies so often. I wonder when my passion can stand them. To be plain, your temper may make a pretty relief in the flat of matrimony, but they do not suit the state of freedom, which is necessary to my happiness. It was such by destructive arts as these you cured Don Carlos of his love.
Cured Don Carlos? Oh, Florio, where thou but as he is?
Why? You don't pretend he loves you still?
Yes, most ardently and truly.
Ha!
If thou wouldst persuade me that passion is real, borrow his words, his looks. Be a hypocrite one dear moment, and speak to me in all the frenzy of that love, which warms the heart of Carlos.
The heart of Carlos.
That seemed the jealous pang. It gives my hopes new life. Yes, Florio, he indeed knows what it is to love. For me be forsook a beauteous wife, nay, and with me he would forsake his country.
Villain! Villain!
Nay, let not the thought distress you thus. Carlos, I despise. He is the weakest of mankind.
'Tis false, madam. You cannot despise him. Carlos, heavens, what woman could resist him? Persuasion sits on his tongue, and love, almighty love, triumphant in his eyes.
This is strange. You speak of your rival with the admiration of a mistress.
Oh, it is fate of jealousy to see the charms of his object increased and heightened. I am jealous to distraction of Don Carlos, and cannot taste peace until you swear never to see him more. How nearly had I been betrayed.
I joyfully swear, never to behold or speak to him again. When dear youth, shall we retire to Portugal? We are not safe here.
Oh, you know I am not rich. Oh, you must first sell all the lands my rival gave you.
'Tis done. I have found a purchaser, and tomorrow the transfer will be finished.
And then nothing to trust but the ingenuity of Gasper. There is reason to fear Don Carlos had no right in that estate, with which you suspend yourself in doubt.
No right? What can have given you those suspicions?
Oh, a conversationist steward who assures me that his master could never have set estate in Leon.
Never? What? Not by marriage? My blood runs cold. Can I have taken pains to deceive myself?
Those doubts may soon be annihilated or conformed to certainty. I have seen Don Sancho, the uncle of Victoria. He is now in Madrid. You have told me that he has one professed a passion for you.
Oh, to excess. But at the time, I had another object.
Have you conversed with him much?
I never saw him nearer than my balcony, where he used to ogle me through a glass, suspended by a ribbon, like an order of knighthood. He is weak enough to fancy it, gives him an air of distinction. But where can I find him? I must see him.
Write him a billet, and I will send it to his lodgings.
Instantly. Dear Florio, a new prospect opens to me. Don Sancho is rich and generous, and by playing on his passions without yielding to them, his fortune may be a constant bond to us. I'll dip my pen in flattery.
Exit.
Jesus. Base woman, how can I pity thee? Oh, regret the steps which my duty obliges me to take. For myself, I would not wear the shadow of deceit, but for my children. Is there a parental heart that would not pardon me?
Exit. Scene 2. Don Caesar's. Enter Olivia and Minette.
Well, here we are in Kait. What is this charming intelligence of which thou art so full this morning?
Don Marcella told me that Don Caesar had last night been to pay her a visit previous to their marriage,
And their marriage? How can you give me the intelligence with such a look of joy? Their marriage? What will become of me?
Dear Mom, if you'll but have patience. She says that Don Caesar and she are perfectly agreed.
Still with that smirking face, I can't have patience.
Then, madam, if you won't let me tell the story, please to read it. Here's a letter from Donna Marcella.
Why did you not give it to me first?
Because I didn't like to be cut out of my story. If orators were obliged to come to the point at once, mercy on us.
Oh, Minette, I give you leave to shrink again. I am more mortified, more terrified at the idea of becoming your father's wife than you are in the expectation of a stepmother. Don Caesar only means to frighten you into matrimony, and I have, on certain conditions, agreed to assist you. But whatsoever you may hear or see, be assured that nothing is so impossible as that he should become the husband of Donna Marcella. Oh, delightful girl. Oh, I love her for this. I love this girl for this, right, Minette?
Yes, ma'am. And if you'd had patience, I should have told you that she's now here with Don Caesar, in grave debate how to begin the attack, which must force you to take shelter in the arms of a husband.
Ah, no matter how they begin it, let them amuse themselves.
Enter Don Caesar leading Marcella.
Oh, Olivia, here's Donna Marcella come to visit you. Though, as matters are, that respect was due from you.
I am sensible of the condescension. My dear madam, how very good this is.
She takes her hand.
Pray, Donna Marcella, what do you think of these apartments? The furniture and decorations are my daughter's taste. Would you wish them to remain, or you'll give orders to have them changed?
Changed, undoubtedly. I can have nobody's taste govern my apartments but my own.
Oh, they shall receive your orders. You understand, I suppose, from this that everything is fixed between Donna Marcella and me.
Yes, sir, I understand it perfectly, and it gives me infinite pleasure.
Pleasure?
Entirely, sir.
Pedro! Oh, that won't do, that won't do. You can't hide it. You are frightened out of your wits at the thoughts of a mother-in-law, especially a young, gay, handsome one.
Oh, pardon me, sir. The thought of a mother-in-law was indeed disagreeable. But her being young and gay qualifies it. I hope, ma'am, you'll give us balls and the most spirited parties. My dear father hates those things, but I hope now.
Hey, well, what's the meaning of all this?
Bless me, sir. Are you angry that I look forward to your marriage without murmuring?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. You ought to murmur. You ought to.
Dear me, I find love taken up late in life has a bad effect on the temper. I wish, my dear papa, you had felt the influence of Donna Marcella's charms somewhat sooner.
You do? You do? Why, this must all be all put on. This can't be real.
Indeed it is. And I protest your engagement with this lady has given me more pleasure than I have tasted, ever since you began to tease me about a husband. You seem determined to have a marriage in the family, and I hope now I shall live in quiet with my dear, sweet young mother.
Oh, no. Was there ever... She doesn't care for a mother-in-law? Can't frighten her?
Peculiar that being pleased with your choice, you submitted with humble duty to your will. You'd be the cause of offense.
See? I don't want you to be pleased with my choice. I don't want you to submit with humble duty to my will. Where I do want you to submit, you rebel. You are... But I'll mortify that wayward spirit yet.
Exit Don Caesar and Marcella.
Well, really, my master's in a piteous passion. He seems more angry at your liking his marriage than at your refusing to be married yourself. Wouldn't it have been better, madam, to have affected discontent?
To what purpose? But to lay myself open to fresh solicitations in order to get rid of the evil I pretended to dread. Blah. To be lucky in the choice of a lover.
As much as to say, madam, that there is...
Why, yes, as much as to say. I see you resolved to have my secret, Minette. And so...
Enter Gasper.
There is a gentleman at the door called Don Julio de Melicina. He waits on you from Don Vincentio.
Who? Don Julio? It cannot be. Are thou sure of his name?
The servant repeated it twice. He is in a fine carriage and seems to be a nobleman.
Conduct him hither.
Exit Gasper.
I cannot see him. I would not have him know the incognito to be Olivia for worlds. There is but one way. Minette, ask no questions, but do as I order you. Receive Don Julio in my name. Call yourself the heiress of Don Caesar, and on no account suffer him to believe that you are anything else. It is impossible that he can have discovered me. Perhaps he comes with offers to my father. Then my interview last night did not give him those impressions I hoped. I am jealous of myself. It is so. His incognito shall never pardon a passion for the daughter of Don Cesar.
Exit.
So, then this is some new lover whom she is determined to disgust, and fancies that making me pass for her will complete it. Perhaps her ladyship may be mistaken, though. Upon my word of sweet man! Oh, Lord. My heart beats with the very idea of his making love to me, even though he takes me for another. Stay. I think he shan't find me here. Standing in the middle of a room gives one's appearance no effect. I'll enter upon him, something that shall strike. The first glance is everything.
Exit. Enter Julio.
Not here. The ridiculous dispute between Garcia and Vincentio gives me irresistible curiosity. Though if she is the character Garcia describes, I expect to be cuffed for my impertinence. Here she comes. A pretty little smiling girl. Faith for a vixen.
Sir, your most obedient, humble servant. You are Don Julio de Melicina. I am extremely glad to meet you, sir.
A very courteous reception. You honor me infinitely, madame. I must apologize for waiting on you without a better introduction. Don Vincentio promised to attend me, but a concert called him to another part of town.
A concert? Yes, sir. He is very fond of music.
He is, madam. You, I suppose, have a passion for that charming science?
Oh, yes. I love it mightily.
This is lucky. I think I have heard, Donna Olivia, that your taste that way is peculiar. You are fond of a... Faith, I can hardly speak it. Of a...
Kazoo! A kazoo? Mercy! What, do you think a person of my birth and figure can have such fancies as that? No, sir, I love fiddles, French horns, and all the cheerful, noisy instruments in the world.
Then you are fond of concerts, madam.
Dote on them. I wish you'd offer me a ticket.
Vincentio is clearly wrong. Now to prove how far the other was right in supposing her a vixen.
There is a grand public concert, sir, tomorrow. Pray, do you go?
I believe I shall, madame.
My father, Don Caesar, won't let me purchase a ticket.
I think it's perfectly right.
Right. To refuse me a trifling expense that would procure me a great pleasure.
Yes, doubtless. The ladies are too fond of pleasure. I think Don Cesar is exemplary.
Lord, sir, you'd think it very hard if you were me to be locked up all your life and know nothing of the world but what you could catch at the bars of your balcony.
Oh, perhaps I might, but as a man, I'm convinced 'tis right. Daughters and wives should be excluded from those destructive haunts. Let them keep to their embroidery, nor ever presume to show their faces but at their own firesides. This will bring out the Xantippe, surely.
Well, sir, I don't know. To be sure, a home, as you say, is the fittest place for women. For my part, I could live forever at home. I am determined he shall have his way. Who knows what may happen?
Ah, by all the powers of caprice, Garcia is as wrong as the other.
I delight in nothing so much as in sitting by my father and hearing his tales of old times. And I fancy when I have a husband, I shall be more happy to sit and listen to his stories.
Perhaps your husband, fair lady, might not be inclined to so amuse you. Men have 1,000 delights that call them abroad, and probably your chief amusement would be counting the hours of his absence and giving a tear to each as it passed.
Well, you should never see him. I would always smile when he entered. Sure, this will do.
I am every moment more astonished. Pray, madam, permit me a question. Are you really, yet I cannot doubt it, are you really Donna Olivia, the daughter of Don Cesar, to whom Don Garcia and Don Vincentio had lately the honor of paying their addresses?
Am I Donna Olivia? What a question. Pray, sir, is this my father's house? Are you Don Julio?
I beg your pardon, but to confess, I had heard you described as a lady who had not quite so much sweetness, and...
Oh, what? You had heard that I was a shrew, I suppose. 'Tis all slander, sir. There's not in Madrid, though I say it, a sweeter temper than my own. And though I have refused a good many lovers, yet if one was to offer himself that I could like...
Ah, you would take pity and reward his passion. Lovely Donna Olivia, how charming is this frankness. 'Tis a little odd, though.
Why, it always seemed to me to be very hard-hearted to be cruel to a lover that one likes.
Olivia! Olivia!
Bless me, I hear my father. Now, sir, I have a particular fancy that you should not tell him in this first visit your design.
Oh, madam, my design?
Yes, that you will not speak out till we have had a little further conversation, which I'll take care to give you an opportunity for very soon. I'll be here in a moment. Now, pray, Don Julio, go. If he should meet you and ask who you are, you can say that you are. You may say that you came on a visit to my maid, you know.
I thank you, madam. For my dismissal, I was never in such peril in my life. I believe she has a license in her pocket, a priest in her closet, and a ceremony by heart.
Exit. Act 5, Scene 1. Don Carlos is discovered writing.
It's in vain.
It's in vain.
Sorry.
It is in vain. Language cannot furnish me with terms to soften to Victoria the horrid transaction. Couldn't she see the compunctions of my soul? Her gentle heart would pity me, but what then? She is ruined. My children are undone. Oh, the artifices of one base woman and my villainy to another most amiable one have made me unfit to live. I am a wretch who ought to be blotted from society.
Enter Pedro hastily.
Sir.
Well,
Sir, I have just met Don Florio. He asked if my mistress was at home, so I guesses he is going to our house. And so I run to let you know, for I love to keep my promises, though I am deadly afraid of some mischief.
you have done well. Go home, wait for me at the door, and admit me without noise.
Exit Pedro.
At least then, I shall have the pleasure of revenge.
Exit. Scene 2, Donna Laura's, and Delora followed by Victoria.
'Tis his carriage. How successful was my letter. This, my Florio, is a most important moment.
It is indeed, and I will leave you to make every advantage of it. Now, Gaspar, play thy part well and save Victoria.
Exit.
Here comes the dotard.
Enter Gasper dressed as an old beau. 2 servants follow him and take off a rich cloak.
Ha! There she is.
Looking through a glass suspended by a red ribbon.
There she is, charming Donna Laura. Let me thus at the shrine of your beauty.
He makes an effort to kneel and falls on his face. Laura assists him to rise.
Fie, those new shoes, they have made me skate all day. And now, well, you see how profound my adoration is, madame. Common lovers kneel. I was prostrate.
You do me infinite honor, disgraceful wretch.
But how could you be so barbarous to leave me at Valencia without granting me one interview nearer than your balcony?
It was a female artifice. I knew you'd follow me, and how could I resist the triumph of shewing that I led in my chains the illustrious Don Sancho?
Oh, you dear charming. But stay. Bless me, what a careless fellow I am. I had a casket with some diamonds in it, a necklace and a few trifles which I had meant to have had the honor of placing on you. Left it at home. Oh, my giddy pate.
You are always elegant, Don Sancho. I'll send my servant, Pedro.
No, tomorrow. It will be an excuse for me to come tomorrow. I shall often want excuses.
My wishes shall always be your excuse. But tomorrow be it then. You are thinner than you were, Don Sancho. I protest. Now I observe you. You are much altered.
Aye, madam. Fretting. Your absence threw me into a fever that you destroyed my bloom. You see, I look almost a middle-aged man now.
No, really. Far from it, I assure you. The top is as wrinkled as the baboon.
Then jealousy that gave me a jaundice. My niece's husband, I hear, Don Carlos, has been my happy rival. Oh, my blade will hardly keep in its scabbard when I think of him.
I'll think no more of him. He has been long banished of my thoughts. Be assured. I wonder you gave your niece to him with such a fortune?
Gave? She gave herself. And as to fortune, she had not a pistole from me.
'Twas indeed unnecessary, with so fine an estate as she had in Leon.
My niece an estate in Leon? Not enough to give shelter to a field mouse. And if he has told you so, he is a braggart.
Told me so. I have the writing. He has made over the land to me.
Made over the lands to you? Oh, a deceiver! I begin to suspect a plot. Pray, let me see this extraordinary deed.
She runs to the cabinet.
A plot, I'll be sworn.
Here is the deed which made that estate mine forever. And no, sir, I will entrust it in no hands but my own. Yet look over me and read the description of the land.
He reads through the glass.
In the vicinage of Rosalva, bounded on the west by the river, on the east by the forest. Oh, artful dog, I need read no further. I see how the thing is.
How, sir, behold. Stay a moment. I am breathless with fear.
No, madam, don't be afraid. It is my estate, that's all, the very castle where I was born, and which I never did, nor ever will bestow on any don in the two Castiles. Dissembling rogue, bribe you with a fictitious title to my estate? Ha ha ha!
Curses follow him. The villain I employed must have been his creature, his reluctant all art. And whilst I believed myself undoing him, was duped myself.
Could you suppose I'd give Carlos such an estate for running away with my niece? No, no, the vineyards and the cornfields and the woods of Rosalva are not for him. I've somebody else in my eye. In my eye, observe me, to give those to. Can you guess who it is?
No, indeed. He gives me a glimmering that saves me from despair.
I won't tell you unless you bribe me. I won't indeed.
He kisses her cheek.
Then now I'll tell you, they're all for you. Yes, this estate to which you have taken such a fancy shall be yours. I'll give you the deeds if you'll promise to love me, you little cruel thing.
Can you be serious?
I'll sign and seal tomorrow.
Noble Don Sancho. Thus then I am annihilating the proof of his perfidy and my weakness. Thus I tear to a torrent his detested name, and as I fled on thee, so would I on his heart.
Enter Victoria.
My children then are saved!
Oh, Florio, 'tis as thou saidst. Carlos was a villain and deceived me. Why this strange error? Ah, I see the cause. You think me ruined and will abandon me. Yes, I see it in thy averted face. Thou darst not meet my eyes. If I misjudge thee, speak.
Laura, I cannot speak. You little guess the emotions of my heart. Heaven knows, I pity you.
Pity? Oh, you villain! And hast thy love already snatched the form of pity? Peace, deceitful.
Stand off. Loose your weak hold. I'm come for vengeance.
Enter Carlos.
Where is this youth? Where is the blooming rival for whom I have been betrayed? By heaven, my sword shall in his bosom right its master's wrongs.
Victoria takes off her hat and drops on one knee.
Strike it here. Plunge it deep into that bosom already wounded by 1,000 stabs. Keener and more painful than your sword can give. Here lives all the knowing anguish of love betrayed. Here live the pangs of disappropriative hopes sanctified by holiest vows, which written in the books of heaven.
Carlos sinks. She flies to him.
Oh, my Carlos, my beloved, my husband, forgive my new severe reproaches. Thou art dear, yet dear as ever, my Victoria's heart.
Oh, you know not what you do. You know not what you are. Oh, Victoria, thou art a beggar.
No, we are rich, we are happy. See there, the fragments of that fatal deed, which I had not recovered. We had been indeed undone.
The fragments of the deed which that base woman...
Speak not so harshly to you, madam. I fear. I seem reprehensible. Yet when you consider my duties as wife and mother, you will forgive me. Be not afraid of poverty. A woman has deceived, but she will not desert you.
Is this real? Can I be awake?
Oh, mayst thou indeed awake to virtue. You have talents that might grace the highest of our sex. Be no longer unjust to such precious gifts by burying them in dishonor. Virtue is our first duty. Laura, bow before her throne and mourn her ceaseless tears, that ever you forget her heavenly precepts.
So by a smooth speech about virtue, you think to cover the injuries I sustained? Vile, insinuating monster. I mean, but thou not beat me, not. Revenge is sweeter to my heart than love. And if there is a law in Spain to gratify that passion, your virtue shall have another field for exercise.
Exit.
No, no, you'll find no help in the law, charmer.
My hated rival and my charming wife. How many sweet mysteries have you to unfold? Oh, Victoria, my soul thanks thee, but I dare not yet say I love thee till 10,000 acts of watchful tenderness have proved how deep the sentiments engraved.
Can it be true that I have been unhappy? But the mysteries, my Carlos, are already explained it to you. Gasper's resemblance to my uncle.
Yes, sir, I was always apt at resemblances. In our plays at home, I am always Queen Cleopatra.
Come, my Victoria. Oh, there is a painful pleasure in my bosom to gaze on thee, to listen to, and love thee. Seems like the bliss of angels cheering whispers to repentant sinners.
Exeunt Carlos and Victoria.
Lord help 'em. How easily the women are taken in. Here's a wild rogue has plagued her heart these 2 years, and a whip syllable about angels and whispers clears scores.
Exit. Scene 3, the Prado. Enter Minette.
Ah, here comes the man at last, after I've been sauntering in sight of his lodgings these 2 hours. Now, if my scheme takes, what a happy person I shall be. And sure, as I was Donna Olivia today to please my lady, I might be Donna Olivia tonight to please myself. I'll dress him as the maid of a lady who has taken a fancy to him, then convey him to our house, then retire, and then come in again, and with a bad deal of confusion, confess I sent my maid for him. If he should dislike my forwardness, the censure will fall on my lady. If he should be pleased with my person, the advantage will be mine. But perhaps he's come here on some wicked frolic or other. I'll watch him at a distance before I speak.
Exit. Enter Julio.
Ah, not here, Faith, though she gave me last night but a faint refusal, and I had a right, by all the rules of gallantry, to construe that into an assent. Then she's a jilt. Hang her, I feel I am uneasy. The first woman that ever gave me pain. Oh, hang on. Oh, there I am.
Yes.
I am ashamed that this spot has attractions for me, only because it was here I conversed with her. It was here the little siren, conscious of her charms, unveiled her fascinating face. 'Twas here.
Enter Garcia and Vincentio.
Was here that Julio, weaving champagne untasted and songs of gallantry unsung, came to talk to the whistling branches.
Was here that Julio was found in doleful meditation on a wench for 100 ducats.
Who is she?
Not Donna Olivia, gentlemen, not Donna Olivia.
We have been seeking you to ask the event of your visit to her.
The event has proved that you have been most grossly duped.
I knew that.
And you likewise. I know that. The fair lady, so far from being a vixen, is the very essence of gentleness. To me, so much sweetness in a wife would be downright mawkish. I like the little acerbities which flow from quick spirits and a consciousness of power. One may as well marry a looking glass as a woman who constantly reflects back one's own sentiments.
Well, but she's fond of a kazoo.
Detests it.
Fo. This is a game at cross purposes. Let us all go to Don Caesar's together and compare opinions on the spot.
I'll go most willingly, but it will be only to cover you both with confusion for being the two men in Spain most easily imposed on.
All going. Enter Minette.
Gentlemen, my lady has sent me for one of you. Pray, which of you is it?
Ah, me, without doubt, child.
I don't know that.
Look at me, my dear. Don't you think I am the man?
Let me see. Good air and well made. You are the man for a dancer. Well dressed and nicely put out of hands. You are the man for a concert. Handsome and bold. You are the man for my lady.
Gentlemen, I wish you a good night. I am your very obedient, humble...
Stalking
Foe.
by them with his arm around Minette.
Foe, prithee, don't be a fool. Are we not going to Donna Olivia?
Donna Olivia must wait, my dear boy. We can decide about her tomorrow. Come along, my little dove of Venus.
Exit.
What a rash fellow it is. 10-1, but this is some common business, and he'll be robbed and murdered. They take him for a stranger.
Let's follow and see where she leads them.
That's hardly fair. However, as I think there's danger, we will follow.
Exit. Scene 4, Don Caesar's. Enter Olivia.
To the Prado. Julio will certainly be there. He has too much breeding not to translate my positive denial into assent. At least I must convince myself, if I see him completely vanquished, I can, by the most unlucky chance in the world, drop a card with my name, and then all the rest follows in course.
Exit. Enter Minette and Julio.
There, sir, please to sit down till my lady is ready to wait on you. She won't be long. I'm sure she's out, and I may do great things before she returns.
Exit.
Through 50 back lanes, a long garden, and a narrow staircase, into a superb apartment, all that's in the regular way. One intrigue is too much like another. Now, presently, in comes a stately dame with a veil on. She tells me she fears I have but a slight opinion of her virtue. I make her an answer about her beauty, and after a dozen or two entreaties and denials, off comes the veil. A fat matron, perhaps of 40. I swear she's a goddess. She thinks me very obliging, and I find her very grateful. And this is the epitome of half the amours in Madrid. If it was not now and then for the little lively fillip of a jealous husband or brother, which obliges one to leap from a window or crawl like a cat along the gutters, there would be no bearing the ennui. But this promises novelty. A young girl and an old man, wife or daughter, they're coming this way, my lovely incognita. Why did not some kind spirit whisper to me my happiness? But hold, she can't mean to treat the old gentleman with a sight of me.
He goes behind the sofa. Enter Caesar and Olivia.
Oh, no, madam, no going out. Give me your veil. It would be useless till you put it on for life. There, madam, this is your apartment, your house, your garden, your assembly, till you go to your convent. Why, how impudent you are to look thus unconcerned. Very well. Very well.
Exit, double locking the door.
I'll be even with you, my dear father. If you treble lock that door, I'll stay here 2 days without once asking for my liberty, and you'll come the third with tears in your eyes to take me out he has forgot that door leading to the garden, but I vow I'll stay.
She sits down.
I can make the time pass pleasantly enough.
I hope so.
He looks over the sofa.
Heaven and earth!
Ah, my dear creature, why are you so alarmed? Am I here before you expected me?
Expected you?
Oh, this pretty surprise. Come, let us sit down. I think your father very obliging to lock us in together.
Sir, my father!
Aye, 'tis all in vain. I won't come near you. There you are, and there you may stay. Shan't return. Make as much noise as you will.
Why are you not ashamed that your father has so much more consideration for your guests than you have?
How is it possible he can have discovered me?
This is carrying the thing further than you need. If there was a third person here, it might be prudent.
Why, this assurance. Don Julio is really...
the thing in the world you are most ready to pardon.
Upon my word, I don't know how to treat you.
Consult your heart.
I shall consult my honor.
Ah, honor is a pretty thing to play with, but when spoken with that very grave face after having sent your maid to bring me here, is really more than I expected. I shall be in an ill humor presently. I won't stay if you treat me thus.
Well, this is superior to everything. I have heard that men will slander women privately to each other. 'Tis their common amusement. But to do it in one's face, and you really pretend that I sent for you?
Ha ha ha! Well, if it obliges you, I'll pretend that you did not send for me, that your maid did not conduct me hither, nay, that I have not now the supreme happiness.
He catches her in his arms. Enter Minette, who screams and runs out.
Ah, Donna Olivia, how the devil came she here?
That's lucky. Olivia, my dear friend, why do you run away? Keep the character I told you, but be still, Olivia.
Dear man, I was so frightened when I saw that gentleman.
Oh, my dear, it's the merriest, prettiest kind of gentleman in the world. He pretends that I sent my maid for him into the streets.
There's already an excuse for being found in the lady's apartment, however. Now I will swear I know nothing of the matter.
Now I think it is a horrid poor excuse. He has certainly not had occasion to invent reasons for such impertinencies often.
I fancy that he has had occasion to excuse impertinencies often. His impertinence to me today.
To you,
To
madame.
you, madam?
Making love to me, my dear, all the morning. Could hardly get him away. He was so desirous to speak to my father. Nay, sir, I don't care for your impatience.
Nay, then. This accidental meeting is fortunate, pray. Don Julio, don't let my presence prevent your saying what you think proper to my friend. Shall I leave you together?
Ah, to contradict a lady on such an assertion would be too gross. But upon my honor, Donna Olivia is the last woman upon earth who could inspire me with a tender idea. Find an excuse to send her away, my angel, I entreat you. I have 1,000 things to say, and the moments are too precious to be given to her.
I think so too. But one can't be rude, you know.
It is
Caesar.
impossible, gentlemen. Don Julio cannot be here.
Ha! Who's that?
Enter Caesar, Garcia, and Vincentio.
There! Did we not tell you so? We saw him enter the garden.
What can be the meaning of all this? A man in my daughter's apartment?
He attempts to
Hold,
draw.
sir. Don Julio is of the first rank in Spain and will unquestionably be able to satisfy your honor without troubling your sword. We have done mischief, Vincentio.
They have been cursedly impertinent, But I'll bring you off, never fear, by pretending a passion for your busy friend there.
Satisfy me in a moment. Speak, one of you.
I came here, sir, by the merest accident. The garden door was open. Curiosity led me to this apartment. You came in a moment after and very civilly locked me in with your daughter.
Locked you in? Why then, did you not, like a man of honor, cry out?
The lady cried out, sir, and you told her you would not return. But when Donna Olivia entered, for whom I have conceived a most violent passion...
A passion for her? Oh, let me hear no more. A passion for her? You may as well entertain a passion for the untamable hyena.
Garcia.
Then, Vincentio, what think you now?
I'm afraid I must give up that, but pray support me as to this point. Don Caesar, is not the lady fond of a kazoo?
Fond? She's fond of nothing. Playing the vixen. There is not such a fury upon earth.
These are odd liberties with a person who does not belong to him.
I'll play the hypocrite for her no more. The world shall know her true character. They shall know. But ask her maid there.
Her maid?
Why, yes, sir, to say truth, I am but Donna Olivia's maid after all.
Dear Minette, speak for me, or I am now ruined.
I will, ma'am. I must confess, sir, there never was so bitter a tempered creature as my lady is. I have borne her humors for 2 years. I have seen her by night and by day.
Olivia pulls her sleeve impatiently.
I will. And this I am sure, that if you marry her, you'll rue the day every hour the first month and hang yourself the next. There, madam, I have done it roundly now.
I am undone and caught in my own snare.
After this true character of my daughter, I suppose, Signor, we shall hear no more of your passion. So let us go down and leave Madam to begin her penance.
My ideas are totally confused. You, Don Olivia, and the person I thought you, her maid. Something too flattering darts across my mind.
If you have taken a fancy to her maid, I have nothing farther to say as to that violent creature.
Oh, do not profane her. Where is that spirit which you tell me of? Is it that which speaks in modest, conscious blushes on her cheeks? Is it that which bends her lovely eyes to earth?
She's only bending them to earth, considering how to afflict me with some new obstinacy. She'll break out like a tigress in a moment.
It cannot be. Are you, charming woman, such a creature?
Yes, to all mankind but one.
But one? Oh, might that accepted one be me?
Would you not fear to trust your fate with her? You have cause to think so hateful?
No, I bless the hour that bound my fate to hers. Permit me, sir, to pay my vows to this fair vixen.
What? Are you such a bold man as that? Oh, but if you are, 'twill be only lost time. She'll contrive one way or other to return your vows upon your hands.
If they have your authority, sir, I will return them, only with my own.
What's that? What did she say? My head is giddy with surprise.
And mine with rapture.
He catches her hand.
Don't make a fool of me, Olivia. Wilt marry him?
When you command me, sir.
My dear Don Julio, thou art my guardian angel. Shall I have a son-in-law at last? Garcia, Vincentio, could you have thought it?
No, sir, if we had, we should have saved that lady much trouble. 'Tis pretty clear now why she was a vixen.
Yes, yes, 'tis clear enough. And I beg your pardon, madam, but pray have the goodness to tell me sincerely, what do you think of a band?
I love music, Don Vincentio. I admire your skill. And whenever you'll give me a concert, I shall be obliged.
You could not have pleased me so well if you had married me.
Enter Carlos and Victoria.
Ha! Here comes Victoria and her Carlos. My friend, you are happy. 'Tis in your eyes. I need not ask the event.
Is this Don Carlos whom Victoria gave us for a cousin? Sir, you come in happy hour.
I do indeed, for I am most happy.
My dear Carlos, what has made thee thus since morning?
A wife. Marry, Julio, marry.
What? This advice from you?
Yes. And when you have married an angel, when that angel has done for you such things as makes your gratitude almost equal to your love, you may then guess something of what I feel in calling this angel mine.
Now I trust, Don Julio, after all this, that if I should do you the honor of my hand, you'll treat me cruelly, be a very bad man, that I, like my exemplary cousin...
Hold, Olivia. It is not necessary that a husband should be so faulty to make a wife's character exemplary. Should he be tenderly watched of your happiness, your gratitude will give 1,000 graces to your conduct.
Thank you, my dear. We have each struck a bold stroke today. Yours has been to reclaim a husband, mine to get one. But the most important is yet to be obtained. The approbation of our judges, that meat withheld our labors have been vain, pointless my jest, and doubly keen your pain. Might we their applause and their praise provoke, our bowl should then be termed a happy stroke.
The end. Yay.
A round of applause.
Thunderous applause.